Hi everybody. So today I'm going to show you how to create the bodies for these guys, and they're all the same. So I have Kermit the Frog, Elmo, and Cookie Monster. Now I have the band counts for each one of these. So just to explain, in today's video I'm going to show you to create the arms, the legs, and the body. And Kermit, his little collar part, I'm not even sure what to call this, will be right at the end of this video. So we're going to be doing the body, the arms, and the legs. They are all the same for each one. Now the band count I have all here. So I'm going to go through each of them. I'm using the lime green. Now in parts of the video I switched to neon green because I'm still at this point waiting for my lime green bands to come in. I like the way it turned out, but I also like the way that the neon green turned out. So this is just with the neon green, and it's up to you what color green you would like to use. So you're going to need your body color: white, black, red for the mouth, and I'm using the neon green color for this collar part. For Elmo, you're red for the body, white, black, and I'm using neon orange for the nose. For Cookie Monster, I'm using the ocean blue opaque bands. The body, you have your black and the white. So you're going to need some stuffing. The loom is for the magic ring, your hook, and a stitch marker. So I'm going to get started, and I do hope you enjoy. For the legs, I'm going to start off with round 1. I'm going to do 5 single crochets in the magic ring. I'm going to show you how to do one, and then you're going to pause the video to make yourself another. I'm going to start off with my first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to pull 5 bands through, one at a time. So you're just going to reach in, grab your first band, bring it through, end on your hook, and the top loop over. Bring it to the side. Go back in for your second band, bring it through, end on your hook, and now you're bringing the top 2 loops over. Bring it to the side. Back in, third band, same thing, bring it through, end on your hook, and top 2 loops over. Do this 2 more times. You want to attach your stitch marker to this band that's around your hook, and then you can remove off the loom. Move your bands around, and you should have 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is on your hook. For round 2, we're going to increase on each chain. So I'm going to add 2 bands to each chain, but I'm adding them one at a time. At the end of round 2, you're going to have 10 stitches. So you're just doing an increase in each chain until you get to the stitch marker. So I'm just going to go in my first chain, add 1 band, do a single crochet, back in that same chain for the second band, and repeat 2 bands in the next chain. Back in. So you can see I have 3 sections left, 1, 2, and 3. So those are my 3 chains, and I have 3 sections left. You're going to continue by adding 2 bands one at a time to each chain. And the last chain where your stitch marker is, 2 bands again. So you should have 10 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, we're going to increase on every second stitch. So the pattern is a single crochet followed by an increase, single crochet followed by an increase. You're going to repeat this pattern 5 times, and at the end of round 3, you're going to have 15 stitches. So I'm going to go in my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and do a single crochet. Chain 2 with 2 bands. Back in, and repeat 1, 2. And again, 1, 2. Right now, I just want to point out you should have 4 chains left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have 4 sections. You want to follow the pattern and continue until you get to the stitch marker. So you should have 15 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4 and round 5, you're going to do 15 single crochets. So each pile, I have 15 bands, so at the end of each round, you should have 15 stitches. I'm going to do round 4 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and come back to me when you've completed round 5. So you're just going to go in your first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and you're just doing a single crochet to each chain until you get to your stitch marker. So you should have 15 stitches. Remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook, pause the video, and come back to me when you're done. For round 6, we're going to decrease on this round, and we're going to decrease to 10 stitches. So I'm going to do a single crochet followed by an invisible decrease, so I'm adding an extra band. I'm going to repeat this pattern 5 times. So it's single crochet followed by an invisible decrease, single crochet followed by an invisible decrease. So I'm going to get started here. I'm going to go in my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and do a single crochet. Now chains 2 and 3, I'm going to do a slip stitch and leave it on my hook. Leave it on the hook, go to the next stitch, do a slip stitch. When you have 3 loops, then you're going to slide. You're going to repeat single crochet followed by an invisible decrease. Now slip stitch in the next 2. Leave it on your hook, next stitch, 3 loops, and then slide. You're just going to repeat single crochet, invisible decrease in the next 2 stitches. Leave it on your hook, 3 loops, and slide. And you're just going to repeat until you get to your stitch marker. you have 3 chains left, and you have 3 bands left. So you're going to use those up. So you go in your third last chain with a single crochet. In the last 2 stitches, do a slip stitch and leave it on your hook. Three loops and slide. What we're going to do is remove your stitch marker, and you're going to add a little bit of stuffing to the foot when you're done. So add it to the band that's around your hook. If you have it secured, which I do, I'm going to remove my hook, and we're not going to overstuff the foot. We just want the form of it, so I have too much stuffing here. So I'm just going to remove some. And we don't want it full. We just want it to kind of keep the form. And I'm going to put my hook back on. For round 7, we're going to decrease to 8 stitches. So what I'm going to do is 3 single crochets followed by 2 invisible decreases. So I'm going to add an extra band. That's where I do my slip stitch and then slide when you have 3 loops on your hook. Then you're going to do 3 single crochets until you hit the stitch marker here. So let's do the first row. 3 single crochets, 1 band in the first 3 chains, not where it's getting pulled. Chain 2, 1 band. Be careful that you don't grab the stuffing, so you can push it down with your finger. And my third chain with a single crochet. Now in the next 2 chains, the invisible decrease. So slip stitch, next chain, slip stitch, 3 loops and slide. And you're going to repeat that one more time. Slip stitch, 3 loops and slide. I have 3 chains left and 3 bands left. Add 1 band to each chain until you get to your stitch marker. Should have 8 stitches left. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, you're going to do 8 single crochets, adding 1 band to each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Each pile I have 8 bands, so at the end of each round you should have 8 stitches. Your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. I'm going to do round 8 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and complete the rest of the rounds. So I'm going to go in my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and just do a single crochet to each chain until you get to your stitch marker. You have 8 stitches. You can remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook. You want to pause the video and come back to me when you're done. I'm just going to do the slip knot with you. So the last band, I'm just going to tie it off at the end of round 13, bringing my band through all of the loops and just tie it off. So you can tell I didn't use the stitch marker. What I'm going to do now is I'm not adding stuffing inside. I didn't think that you need to. So don't add any inside. What I am going to do is 2 sewing bands. So I'm going to bring my slip knot to the side here. Find your placement here. So you're going to find the front of the foot, kind of like that. So your slip knot should be somewhere in the middle, actually. What I'm going to do is first bring the slip knot through. So I'm just going to kind of hide it right now, just bringing it through, so just to get it out of my way. Now I'm going to put this together sorry, you're going to need 3 bands. And I'm going to go in the center here, so somewhere in the center, I'm going to go from one end to the other, grabbing both sides of the chains, and I'm going to bring my band through and tie it off, so a little slip knot. Don't pull too hard. Now you need to do one on either ends. So right at the sides here, I have both chains here, and I'm going to do a slip knot again. Give it a tug, and on the other side. So you'll have 3 sewing bands, and you can kind of just to secure it, give it a little tug. And this is what you want to do to both of the legs. So I wanted it flat here, so there's no stuffing inside. Round 1 of the arm, I'm going to do 5 single crochets in the magic ring, and I'm going to show you how to do one, and then you're going to pause the video to make yourself the other one. So starting off with a single band, you want to wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, ooh, I pulled too hard. 1, 2, and 3. Now pull 5 bands through one at a time. Reach in, grabbing your first, bring it through, and top loop over. Bring it to the side and back in. Bring your second band through, bottom loop on your hook, and now the top 2 loops over, and bring it to the side. You want to just continue your third band, bring it through, end on your hook, and top 2 loops over. Now attach your stitch marker to this loop that's around your hook, and you can remove off the loom. You should have 5 stitches, but you want to move your bands around so that they're nice and even. For round 2, we're going to add 2 bands to each chain around. So you're doing an increase on each chain. So it's 2 bands, one at a time. 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. At the end of round 2, you're going to have 10 stitches. So I'm just going to go on my first chain, do a single crochet, go back in that same chain to add your second band. Now for the next chain, you're just repeating an increase, back in, and the next, just repeating, back in. So just to show, I have 2 chains left and 2 sections left. And my last chain where my stitch marker is, back in. So you should have 10 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, we're going to do 10 single crochets, so adding 1 band to each chain, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. I have 5, in 5 is 10 bands here. So at the end of round 3, you should still have 10 stitches. So I'm going to go on my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and just do a single crochet. Just going to do this to each chain until you get to your stitch marker. So you should have 10 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, we're going to decrease to 7 stitches. So we're going to do a single crochet followed by an invisible decrease. Single crochet followed by an invisible decrease. So I'm just adding an extra band. When we're done, where your stitch marker is, you're adding a single crochet. So at the end of round 4, you're going to have your 7 stitches. So basically you're just repeating the section 3 times and ending with a single crochet. So let's do the first part. I'm going to go on my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and do a single crochet. Now it's my decrease, so I'm going to do a slip stitch in each. There's one, leave it on your hook, and the next chain. Slip stitch. When you have 3 loops, you want to slide. You're going to repeat single crochet followed by an invisible decrease. Three loops and slide. Repeat one more time. Three loops and slide. So where your stitch marker is just a single crochet. You should have 7 stitches now. What we're going to do is add a little bit of stuffing just to this hand part. So you want to remove your stitch marker first, add it to the band that's around your hook. My stitch marker is secure, so I'm just going to take a little bit of stuffing just to shape the bottom part of the hand here. Not going to stuff it, fill it. I don't want to fill it, just to get the form. And that should be enough. For the hand part, or sorry, the arm part, I'm not going to use stuffing. So I'm just going to put my hook back on. Make sure that all those loose ends are inside. For rounds 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, all you're going to do is 7 single crochets. So adding 1 band to each chain, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Each pile I have 7 bands, so at the end of each round you should have 7 stitches. Your last band, which I'm going to come back for, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed, and then you're going to add 2 sewing bands. So I'm going to do round 5 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and come back to me at the end. So you're just going to go on your first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and bring a single band through. Continue on each chain until you get to your stitch marker. So you should have 7 stitches. You can remove your stitch marker, add it to the band that's around your hook. I'm probably not going to use the stitch marker because I have them all organized. So please pause the video and come back to me for the end. So I'm at the last stitch, so I'm going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm going to take my band and bring it through all of the loops. Do a slip knot, tie it closed. And you can see that I'm not adding stuffing inside. So I'm going to put my slip knot to the side. I'm going to use 2 bands for my sewing bands. So what I'm going to do is my slip knots to the side here. I'm skipping the stitch that's right beside the slip knot, going to the other side. And I'm going to go right across. Sorry, I'm going to go to the stitch that's right beside the slip knot. Never mind that. Let's do this again. We're going to go straight across. So I skip the 2 stitches on either side. And I'm going to bring my band and tie it off. And I broke it again. Let's get another one. And I'm going to go at the edges here from one end to the other end. I've caught both chains, and I'm going to do a slip knot for my guiding band, my sewing band. So you should have 3. Give it a tug, not too much. So this is what you should have. Round 1 of the body, I'm going to do 5 single crochets in the magic ring. So I'm going to take my one band here, my single band, and wrap it 3 times around the bottom peg. 1, 2, and 3. Now pull 5 bands through, one at a time. So reaching in, end on your hook, top loop over. Back in, second band, bring through, end on your hook, end on your hook, and top 2 loops over. Bring it to the side and continue. And the last one. Attach your stitch marker to this band that's around your hook, and then you want to remove off the loom. You should have 5 stitches. Move your bands around. For round 2, we're going to increase on each chain around, so adding 2 bands, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 2. At the end of round 2, you're going to have 10 stitches. So let's go in our first chain, add 2 bands, one at a time. Back in. Our next chain with 2 bands. Back in. And repeat the next chain with 2 bands, all the way until you get to your stitch marker. So you should have 10 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, we're going to increase on every second stitch. So the pattern is a single crochet followed by an increase, single crochet followed by an increase. You're going to repeat this pattern 5 times until you get to your stitch marker. At the end of round 3, you're going to have 15 stitches. So I'm going to go into my first chain and do a single crochet. Chain 2 is my increase, so it's 2 bands, one at a time. Back in and repeat 1, 2. Back in. And continue until you get to the stitch marker. You should have 15 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, we're going to increase to 20 stitches. So you're going to do 2 single crochets followed by an increase, 2 single crochets followed by an increase. So every third stitch you're adding 2 bands. You're going to repeat this pattern 5 times, so you have 20 stitches when you're done. I'm just going to go in the first 2 chains now with a single crochet. The next stitch. And my third stitch is my increase, 2 bands, one at a time. Back in. and repeat 1, 1, 2. Repeat. Just continue following the layout until you get to the stitch marker. I'm at the stitch marker, so this is my increase. You have 20 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. Just so I don't confuse you, you might notice that I've changed color of my green because I don't want to wait anymore for my rainbow loom order to come in. So I'm going to show you how to do the body in the neon green. So I am switching color. So don't be alarmed. For round 5, I'm going to increase to 25 stitches. So what I'm going to do is 3 single crochets followed by an increase. 1, 1, 1, 2. I'm going to repeat this pattern 5 times. So at the end of round 5, you're going to have 25 stitches. So I'm going to go in my first 3 chains, 1, 2, and 3, with a single band in each. So just basically on every 4th stitch, you're going to add 2 bands. So the next stitch with a single crochet. And 1 more. So now I'm at the 4th chain. This is where I'm going to add 2 bands, my increase, 1 at a time. Back in that same chain. And you're going to repeat 1, 1, 1, 2. Follow my layout until you get to your stitch marker. Back in and continue. Just to point out, I have 4 chains left, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 4 sections left. I'm at my stitch marker, so this is my increase. Should have 25 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, you're going to do 25 single crochets. So you're adding 1 band to each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Each pile I have 25 bands, so at the end of each round you should have 25 stitches. So I'm going to do round 6. I'm going to do part of round 6 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and come back to me when you're done. So you just want to go on each chain, making sure that you're not starting where the band is being pulled. Start in your first chain and continue going around just with 1 band in each. So you should have the 25 stitches on each round when you're done. So you just want to continue until you get to your stitch marker, complete the rest of the rounds, and then come back to me when you're done. For round 12, we're going to decrease on this round. I'm not going to use the invisible decrease method. I'm going to stitch my stitches together. So what I'm going to do is decrease round 12 to 20 stitches. So in order to do that, I'm going to do 3 single crochets and stitch 4 and 5 together. 1, 1, 1, 4 and 5 together. I'm going to repeat this pattern 5 times. So at the end, I'll have the 20 stitches. Never mind these bands right here. So I'm going to go on the first 3 chains, 1, 2, and 3 with a single crochet. So don't go where it's getting pulled. So that's 1, the next chain, 2, the next chain, 3. Now you're going to take chains 4 and 5. So once again, from the inside, out, come back to the inside and grab chain 5. Take your band and you want to give it a kind of a stretch. Just for this design, so we don't have it too tight at when we're done so you can't really see it. You don't pull it, just give it a little stretch. Bring it through your chains. Bring your body with your thumb here, use your thumb, bring the band through on your hook and slide. We're going to repeat the pattern again. 3 single crochets and stitch 4 and 5 together. Now again, 4 and 5 together. I'm just going to give it a slight tug and bring it through my chains. Move the body to the center of that band on your hook and slide. And repeat the pattern again. Now 4 and 5. Again. Four and 5. Slight tug. And one more time. So you should have 20 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 13, 14, 15, and 16, you're going to do 20 single crochets, so adding 1 band to each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Each pile I have 20 bands, so at the end of each round you're going to have 20 stitches. I'm going to do part of round 13 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and come back to me when you're done. So let's go on our first chain. You want to make sure you don't go where your band is being pulled. And just add a single band. And just continue until you get to the stitch marker. So you just want to continue until you get to the stitch marker. Please pause the video and come back to me when you're done. For round 17, our last round, what we're going to do is decrease this and close it off. So we're going to decrease this to 15 stitches. So we're going to do 2 single crochets and 3 and 4 together. 1, 1, 3 and 4 together. You're going to repeat this pattern 5 times. Last band, you want to do a slip knot to tie it closed. And then we're going to add some stuffing. So I'm going to go on my first chain, or my first 2 chains with 1 band in each. Now I'm going to take chains 3 and 4 and stitch together. Again, for this round, what I'm going to do is a little tug. Bring it through your chains, move the body to the center of that band, grab it and slide. And repeat the pattern. 2 single crochets, now 3 and 4 you want to stitch together. And repeat. You're going to continue this until you get to the stitch marker. My last 2 chains, I'm going to stitch together. My last band, I'm going to give it a tug, bring it through all of the loops that are on your hook and tie it off. You can remove your stitch marker. And what I'm going to do is show you the little knots that you have. I want you just to fix them up by just pulling it apart gently, a little tug, side to side, and then top to bottom. Now you're going to take some stuffing. You can spread it apart. Don't have it too tight. I'm going to spread it apart and add some in. We don't want the stuffing compacted right inside. You want to just kind of like separate it and then fill the body. So I'm just trying really hard not to overstuff. You want the stuffing all the way to the top. You can always add some in later when you finish the head, and you can tell if you need more stuffing. I'm pretty sure that I can just add a little tiny bit more to the top here. And again, you could always take some out after. Now I'm going to show you how to make the collar. So you don't have the head yet done. So this part is for Kermit the Frog, and it's just the piece that goes around the neck. So again, optional if you want to make this. You want to pick the color green that you would like to use. You can use the same color as the body if you'd like. What I'm going to do is do a chain of 13. So right here I have 14 bands. Your first one is going to be your cap band. So I'm going to take my first band and wrap it around my hook 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now just make a chain of 13. So you should have 13 right now, not including the cap band. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Now you're going to take your end and you're going to use a single band to tie it together. So with your hook, go in the cap band. So you should have the 3 loops there. Take a single band and bring it through all the loops and just slide, but don't pull. Now you want to attach a stitch marker to this band that's around your hook, just so you can see where you're at. So don't be alarmed. This is the pattern to complete this. And this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to take each section at a time very slowly, and it's just repetitive. So that's why I wanted to show you it's very repetitive. If you can get the first step down, the rest is the same. Right here, you're going to tie it off with your last band here. So it's kind of like right at the edge of the frame here. So it's just one more band here. Basically, you can see I'm going to make 7 chains. 7 chains of 4. The 5th band, I'm going to show you what to do. So let's do the first one. What I'm going to do is, here's my stitch marker, and my band is coming out of the cap band. You're going to go to the first chain, put your hook in. Doesn't matter which way you're going in, straight down, up. I'm just going to go from the center, so I don't even have that full loop around my hook. Now I'm going to do a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the first band is going to have to go through all the loops that are on my hook in order to create a chain. So that was 1. Continue with the chain, 2, 3, and now 4. I want you to open it up, and with your 5th band, you're going to catch the same chain where you started. So this is where it's getting pulled. You're going to go in that same chain, and you're going to do a slip stitch. So this is where my chain is coming out of. You're going to take your band, bring it through all the loops that are on your hook, grab your end, and tie it off. Don't pull, sorry. So just a slip stitch. Now you want to go to your next chain because you're here. Go to your next chain and you're going to do a single crochet. So just bring it through, 3 loops, and slide. And that's it. Now you're going to repeat a chain of 4. So you're here, you want to go to your next chain. You have to bring your first band through all the loops in order to create that chain. So that was 1, 2, 3, and 4. Open it up with your 5th band. You want to go in the same chain where you started. And you're going to do a slip stitch, bringing it through all the loops on your hook and slide. Now, single crochet in the next chain over. So you're here, go to your next one. Single crochet. Now you're here, go to your next stitch and do a chain of 4. Oh, chain, you have to bring it through all the loops. That's 2, 3, and 4. Now, with your 5th band, you want to do a slip stitch where you started. Now, single crochet in the next chain over. So you're here, go to your next chain, single crochet. Now in the next stitch over, do a chain of 4. So you're here, go to your next stitch, bring your first band through all the loops to create the chain. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Fifth band, do a slip stitch where you started. Single crochet in the next chain over. So you're here, go to your next stitch. Now we're going to create our chain of 4 again. Next stitch over. Bring it through all the loops. Slip stitch where you started. Same chain. Bring it through all the loops. And now the next stitch over, single crochet. Next stitch over, create a chain of 4. Bring it through all the loops. Where you started, do a slip stitch. You want to do a single crochet in the next chain over. You can see where my stitch marker is. I'm going to do a chain of 4 in the next stitch over. Bring it through all the loops. Do a slip stitch where you started. Now this would be our single crochet, but because we're going to tie it off, I'm just going to go in the little stitch here, which would be your slip knot where you started. So I'm going to go in there and tie it off. So I'm going to bring it through all the loops and do a slip knot. So this is what you should have. You can remove that stitch marker. And you could hide the slip knot, your slip knot. You could hide it through the bands if you wish. You could even do it to the body after you have it ready, but you can just kind of hide it throughout your bands there. You can put that to the side until you're done, ready to use it.